What is going on, everybody? Hopefully everyone's well this 3 days after Christmas live stream. It's been really weird. You know, it was weird having Thanksgiving. No, definitely Christmas. What are all these notifications I have, too? Yeah, it's kind of weird having Christmas and, you know, a lot of holiday stuff kind of during the week. It makes the rest of the week just feel all crazy. But hopefully everybody enjoyed their Christmas week. And week. I want to know if anybody got anything cool. Anyone in this chat room get like, I don't know, you get a Ferrari or like anything really cool? The Ultimate Rental, I saw that super chat very early before we showed up. Thank you, sir. And there are 5 likes on this live stream, so definitely give the live stream a like and then we'll get going. Once we get to 500 likes, we'll talk. Tigger, I guess? He got socks. That's, you know, you kind of need them, so at least you got something you need. You didn't get like a used harmonica. I got a used harmonica once from somebody. A JT mask, that's good. Mr. Mushroom VR. Oh, Chris got a 180R. That's pretty good then. I love the 180R. Like, no Ferrari. Yeah, me either. My F40 got stuck in customs. But you got a Bentley. What kind of Bentley? I don't even know anything about Bentleys. Do I need a chauffeur? No, that's more of a Rolls Royce kind of a deal. We'll talk to the chat room for a little bit. Then we can talk about some stuff. You might have seen the title that this says Era versus Amp. I don't actually have those in my hands. Shocker Paintball put up a video today, or maybe it was yesterday. I think it was actually today, where they just like recap the difference between them and kind of go really into depth. And going to have probably more information than I would definitely have. So we'll watch that together, and then I'll kind of talk over it too. Eric B says, I asked for the HK Army Aura CS, but didn't get it. Those are really cool. I actually thought about talking about those. I kind of don't like how they're like not actually Aurora, or they're not like actually that color changing anno, you know? It looks different, but it doesn't change when you change angles, kind of like I wish it would. But I think that plating is a little bit harder to do than I know anything about. The Mind Unlock, I'm going to get the KMP for sure. I think over Reflex Sport. Well, yeah, if you want to, you can use the promo code PBRML at Kinetic Paintball if you want. Maybe that, nope. You could use that right there over at Kinetic, and you could actually save yourself about 15, I don't know, how much are those things? 130? So you save about 12 bucks, I think, $13. $13 exactly, really, I should say. So do that. You know, I don't dislike the Sport from Infamous. It's kind of weird how the Sport is actually like $20 or $30 more than just their base reflex harness, whatever they're calling that. Because the Sport, I mean, it's literally like a quarter of the material and it's costing more, which is weird. But it does seem to work pretty well. It looks cool. I kind of like the patterns and all that stuff they have on them, so we can kind of see what they look like and all that jazz. Do I feel... you guys aren't gonna know if my audio's low. Okay. Let's see what we got here. Oh, I gotta open something first. Ooh, it's all blinding. Maybe I should put the computer in dark mode. There we go. There we go. Yeah, we have pro paintball news we can talk about. We have the Shocker Era versus the Shocker Amp video that Shocker did put out. And then I also watched the other day the Hormesis 1v1 with Yosh Rao and Alex Fraige. That's kind of cool. We might just watch some of that as well. So let's do, without a further ado, let's talk about pro paintball. So a lot of kind of been happening this offseason. Hold on. A lot's been happening this offseason. We've seen a lot of teams like fully rebuild pretty much. I mean, we're going to talk about the Ironmen in just a second here. We have some guys that are leaving. I shouldn't say leaving AC Diesel. We have Justin Rabikoff. J-Rab left AC Diesel. And just a lot of mix up in the league. And when we saw, not Kinetic, we saw NRG and why am I blanking on who the heck NRG merged with? The Bears and NRG merged to create the Brooklyn Bears, powered by NRG. We've got 2 new pro teams in Blast Camp and PB Fit. So a lot has been happening these last few weeks. If you've been following Pro Paintball, or at least watching some of these live streams. Okay, so we're just going to open up this graphic right here. And it's going to have all of the most recent Ironman pickups on there. Some of these guys we found out earlier this week. You can see a lot of guys in Revo jerseys, Revo having a new owner in Tom 4. Previous DC Arsenal owner. Arsenal was like a 7-man team for a while. They played, they had to have played X-Ball at some point. But we have Henry Stentz up there in the top left corner. Going to be on the Ironman. Henry was with Revo for a very long time. He went professional in 2014, the exact same time Revo entered the defunct Challenger bracket in the PSP. Was it PSP? Yeah, PSP. He's played pro for a long time. Peter Stentz is a back player. He's kind of can play that maybe second middle attacker guy, a very good back player. I mean, Henry's become one of the better players in the league in the last few years. And the same with Stephen O'Mara. Stephen O'Mara, to his right, also played with Revo for a very, very long time. He started playing with Revo in 2009, so 14 years with the team, and then going over now to the Ironmen. Stephen O'Mara is kind of one of those guys who's known for, maybe, I don't want to use the word aggressive, but very something. He's just known for getting, or known for overshooting, so he likes to shoot people a lot. And then Shane Pastana actually said this about him. O'Mara's offensive game as a front player or insert player will be a staple of our offense this season. So he is aggressive, I guess. He's been a force in the league for a long time. Having him on our side is going to be a pleasure working with him. Having him on our side is going to be a pleasure to work with. I guess that makes sense. That was just a little weirdly worded. So yeah, having 2 of Revo's really strongest players. Henry and O'Mara are probably their strongest players. And then they've also added a snake side first going into the snake guy, we'll say, and Scott Graham. Scott Graham's a guy that's been around for not a super long time. He played pro first in 2017. I think that was his first year. But he's also played with NYX, the Bears, and Seattle Thunder. He's played on a bunch of semi-pro teams. DC Devastation was one. Distortion he played with last year. He's a really small guy, very quick, and definitely dedicated to paintball. I've seen him even around here in Sacramento playing paintball, coming down from Canada and stuff. So having him on the team as a dedicated player, someone who's certainly dedicated to play paintball, is probably good. We talked about Zach Geiger last weekend. Zach Geiger's another one of those, center players, kind of like Henry Stentz, but Zach Geiger's going to be more that first guy, maybe up the center. If you're running to the center 50 off the break, or he's taking one of those center towers or something like that and then working his way up. What I put here, he's played with NRG. He played with NRG in D2, semi-pro, and pro, but he went to Revo actually at the beginning of 2022, but then actually went back to NRG the end of last year. We talked about him. And then Damian Vasquez. Damian Vasquez really only played pro for 1 year with Dynasty, although he's got that Dynasty jersey on. He played with them in 2022, but also has been a longtime player of the Newbies. The Newbies right now are a very good semi-pro team, constantly kind of fighting for that 4th or 5th highest spot in that semi-pro division, so definitely going to be a loss for them. But definitely maybe a big pickup for the Ironmen. We don't really know, though. Damien has not, like I said, he's not played in the Provision that much, only that 1 year, and really didn't play all that much either. I mean, obviously, you're being on Dynasty. There are just so many good players on that roster, and so many Hall of Famers and best paintball players in the world. So it's really hard to kind of get some spins over there. And then Tom Guest. Tom Guest was a couple weeks ago, was added to the Ironman roster. He's played with X Factor the last 2 seasons, and then the 2 seasons before that, he kind of played with Aftermath, and that was his, not kind of played, definitely played with Aftermath. But I would say that the last season on Aftermath, he kind of made his, I don't know, we'll say mark, and kind of started standing out. He's a taller player like I am, which I think is really cool. He plays kind of that back position, but really can kind of play everywhere. I mean, you can see him over in the snake side to fill quick, or even in the Dorito side, but I think would primarily be in that center position. So, I mean, just looking at, like, you know, these 6 guys right here, they've kind of fielded a team, right? I mean, Damien could go play there the Dorito side, Scott Graham, and maybe put O'Mara on the snake side. You get Tom Guest in the center with Zach Geiger, Henry Stentz holding down back center. So they've kind of retooled their entire roster. And unfortunately, the Ironman had to get rid of a lot of people too. I mean, I think about Al Fernandez. Al Fernandez has been on the Ironman for a long time, and he is now a free agent. But the Ironmen were just doing so bad, you know, they wanted to retool and kind of like rebuild their entire roster. And so far they've done that. I think that their roster last year, if you look at it, it's not like they were terrible. It's not like they had just a bunch of random dudes you never heard of. So hopefully this year, I mean, with getting players that are used to playing with each other at least, you know, Zach Geiger, Stentz, and O'Mara have all played on the same team. Definitely O'Mara and Henry Stentz know each other. So I think that might be good for that team. Like I said, this roster's improved, but probably not like insane. You know, it's not that dramatic. It's not like they, you know, picked up all the guys on AC Diesel and are trying to make a mega team. And speaking of AC Diesel, you know, Justin Rabikoff, J-Rab, has actually left AC Diesel after only 1 year. They kind of thought that they were going to be playing at least 2 years in that program, but he left after a very short time. I really didn't kind of see this coming. Hopefully he got paid. Hopefully we get at least 6-digit salary for playing for Russian Legion, or what they're now more called Red Legion. This is his 2nd time with the team, though. He actually went there in 2008. Probably his breakout year. Maybe that was 2009. But joined Russian Legion in 2008, played with them until or through the 2011 season, and then was with Impact for a very long time. He played with Impact for 9 years. Played with AC Diesel last year. I see a super chat, someone. There's also a helicopter flying around outside looking for a missing person, which is sad but good. You know, they're doing something good out there. Who knows about Russian Legion, though? They were kind of middle-ish of the pack this year. But again, a crazy roster. I mean, just 4 guys on their team. I mean, you can take J-Rab, you have Alexander Bridnikov, you have Karzalev, and hopefully Samotrov plays this year. I mean, Alexander Samotrov? No. I don't know. All these Russian names are hard for me. Samotrov was one of the best Russian players there was, but did not play at all last year with the team. I'd really like to see him come back. I mean, he's a very fun player to watch. And obviously, you know, picking up J-Rab, one of the best paintball players there is going to be a benefit for Red Legion. He kind of had some knee issues last year, though, so we'll kind of see how that pans out. His hair looks crazy. He does not look 54, though. You know, that's what my hair looks like. I'm trying to listen to the, like, helicopter flying around out there. So it's cool to see teams moving. You know, I like it when players and teams move all over the place. It just kind of makes it a little more exciting, you know. I'm definitely going to want to watch Russian Legion next year. I'm definitely going to tune into their games to see how it works with J-Rab. The Ironman roster is kind of crazy. We talked last week about PB Fit and Blast Camp, so I like it. I think it makes the league a little bit more interesting. And the Ultimate Rental, I appreciate Super Chat so much, dude. If anyone else wants to super chat, that's how we make this thing actually go on. J-Rab is looking 45 now. He's not that old. I don't get the hair, though. He just, like, for some reason decided to cut his hair short and was in a picture. I don't think he's bald. You know, I think that if you're... The only reason you should cut your hair that short is if you're bald. You're just going to piss off all the bald guys. You know, I'm balding. So I got to cut my... That's why I didn't take my goddamn beanie off. You're just going to make all the old bald guys mad. And, you know, I don't know. I mean, if you're looking to piss off bald guys... I mean, his dad's a bald guy. Scuba Steve Rabikoff, so... So those are the pro moves, we'll say, that happened the last few days. There were a couple other guys that have kind of switched teams, but those are all like the big ones. And I'm excited to see, you know, how paintball goes. We're still looking around outside for that missing person, which is, you know, kind of good. Who do you think, put in the chat, which team do you think, which pro paintball team's going to win the series title next year? Who's going to win the series title, and which team will have like a breakout season? So who's going to be the best team, and what team's going to be like the team to, like the, oh man, they're doing so well this year. I know. I think I gotta pick my two. We have Ultimate Rental says Red Legion in the chat. Come on, let's give me more. Let's go. We got a Dynasty. And Nerd in New York City says Dynasty, and I think NYX will have a breakout season. That's kind of what I want to say, right? I think that. It's probably going to be Dynasty. We'll say winning the series title because that's what they've done for so long. I mean, every goddamn year. And I really would like to see NYX do well this year. I mean, NYX is a really good roster. I think that they added Thomas Taylor, which is a very good thing. I don't think Thomas might not make the hugest impact on the field, but he certainly can help that team out. I mean, they're just really good, and I think that they've been right on that cusp of really good for a long time. I mean, Pat Kraft, Jerry Caro, Josh Taylor, Will Hennessy, and then Carlos Cortez as well. And then adding in Thomas might actually kind of help those Snake guys maybe learn a few new tricks. Who knows, though? Little Weeder says, maybe Dynasty win, Legion be the team to beat. I mean, we'll find out. I mean, the Russians didn't do so well last season, and their roster's not all that much different. I mean, they've just added J-Rab, which is obviously a big deal, but I don't know if it's necessarily going to push them over the edge. Show me virtual. I think Damage can rally into position. They were so close. Yeah, it was kind of a coin toss there, right? At the end of the year, I think only like 1 or 2 points separated them. So it was kind of like, ooh, just right in there, whether Dynasty or Damage would win that series title. But the good thing probably happened, Dynasty overall, did better than Damage. They won more tournaments and stuff. So it's, that's probably how it should have gone out. The Mind Unlocked. Blast Camp, I feel, will be behind Paintball Fit 2 or 3 spots. I don't know. I mean, I can see PB Fit doing better than that. I mean, I would think that Paintball Fit is probably... I mean, I don't know. I'd put my money on, like... I don't know. We'll say, like... At the end of the year, I would see them being anywhere between the 8th or, like... I don't even know. Like, 9th and 11th spot. But then I'd put Blast Camp lower. I think Blast Camp's probably going to be like 15th, 16th. Which still isn't that bad. I mean, I just think that, like, in that semi-pro division, right, they were easily the top 2 teams. But I think that there's more that separates them, right? When we look at semi-pro, it's like, oh, team 1 and 2. But PB Fit won every single match they played, I don't think... Right, Blast Camp didn't beat Paintball Fit at all every year long, every matchup they had against each other. So I think that we see as their 1 and 2 team, but I think if you put, 5 other pro teams in that division, there'd be more separation. But who knows? Damage hasn't made any roster changes, have they? I don't think that they have. I don't really 100% remember. I'm going to look at my notes really fast, but I don't think that they have at all. I've got kind of like 3 weeks of damage notes, but I don't believe so at all. I don't think so. Paintball Fit placing 4th or 5th, Blast Camp at 7 or 8 with Russian Legion 3 to 4 and Dynasty at 2 with Impact next year. Fam. I don't know. I think that those places for Blast Camp and PB Fit are too high. The other ones are totally, yeah, for sure. I mean, it's kind of like a coin toss. I think that if the Russians ended up in 3rd or 5th, though, that'd be very good for them. I think that they'd probably be happy with that, because that means they have some high tier finishes. They're not just getting like 10th and 8th consistently. Old Soul says, who's picking up Sloviak? I don't know. We've kind of talked about that because Nick does work for Die. So we were kind of... Sack Street Fighters, he's going to be disappointed. Damn it, Sloviak. Yeah, because he works for Die, so he might have to go Leo Samotrov. There we go. Yeah, if Nick works for Die, he might have to, play for a team that uses Die equipment, which... Oh, I don't even know who is using Die stuff right now. Level last year used Die stuff. Well, I don't know. Let's not even try. Did the Russians have been using Die stuff. Maybe he goes play for Russian Legion, although I don't know if I could see that happening. Who knows? Aftershock. I don't know. I think that we're not entirely sure what's going to happen with... golly. There we go. Yeah, because Todd Adamson did buy Level. Level was using, Die equipment at least, and Todd Adamson and Nick Sloviak definitely know each other. And there was, people were saying in the chat, what about Aftershock? Because that was the rumor, maybe, that Level was going to be renamed Aftershock, but... I don't know. I kind of see it both ways, because Level's been around for a few years. They've been in the Pro League for a while, so they kind of have that branding and stuff. So there's not really like a huge reason to change that name. But then again, obviously, it's Aftershock. And Aftershock are Aftershock. They're, one of the more popular paintball teams ever. Mind Unlock says, for sure, Russians have potentials. Man, I should mute my mic. There we go. Russians have potential, but I just feel like it's been lacking. Yeah, I kind of feel that like the war, COVID, and then, their country's at war, so it's just kind of weird. There was a while where they were all stuck in Florida and couldn't get back. Hence why we don't call them Russian Legion anymore. They're just called RL. I don't know. Who knows? Send It 650 says, where do you see paintball going in the next 20 years? I have no clue. I think if we were lucky, what I would like to see is, I don't care about like whether paintball's on TV or, it's got like a Netflix streaming thing, or we have something on Amazon Prime. Like Go Sports teams up with one of those people and we get more paintball. What I would really like to see is just our community grow, and it just keeps getting better, right? I feel that like the internet has definitely kind of helped that. Certainly in the last few years, we've just seen more like community or content for the internet. Like you guys were, I would say, people are part of this community. Then we have like the Play the Game podcast. There's a bunch of other podcasts. So I don't know. I would like to see our culture and community grow and just have more fun things we could do playing paintball. Because I think that's where it's at. I think that us having fun, like more big games and one-off random tournaments. Like I'd love for Skyball to come back in Toronto, right? Skyball's in Toronto, right? Or like, you know, there was a tournament in New Orleans back in the day called Mardi Gras. It was just kind of a one-off tournament, but it used to be part of something else. So yeah, anyway, I don't know. I want Carl Markowski and Nick on Aftershock. That would be kind of cool. You get, I think Ronnie Dizon played for Shock. Aftershock. There's quite a few people who, you know, played for Aftershock that are still playing. You know, I want to say that, like, I wouldn't be surprised if half of the Houston Heat roster did, you know, because they're all kind of from that Chicago-ish area. Not everybody, but, you know, like Chad George and Ryan Moorhead and Skyball Toronto. When I get back in paintball, I'm being more post and recording the post. I don't know. The Ultimate Rental with another goddamn super chat. Dude, I friggin' love it. You know, super chats are one of the ways that this whole thing happens. Super chats, and then also people buying merch. People buying merch like, you know, these headbands right here are the, you know, one of the ways that this whole thing can happen. So very, 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 very supportive of super chats. It's so great that people are willing to do that. People buying merch, it's fantastic. You can get like headbands on there. There's Paintball Ruin My Life barrel covers and hats. So if you like this thing, go maybe go check out that link right there and admire yourself some. Ultimate Rental, don't forget Patreon, Brad. I won't. I'll plug people later. You almost won yourself a... We did a giveaway last week. We did a giveaway for paintball DNA stuff on the Patreon. You know, I gotta do more. It's been so hard. It's been so like, you know, I've had problems with the weather. It's like, it's so like wacky weather outside. It's been like rainy more than usual. It's been hard to go to the paintball field. Like this weekend, I would have been filming the Shocker era video, but it's been all just kind of wacky and rainy outside. So it's been a little bit hard. Do you think ramping guns should be allowed at all fields? No, probably not. Yeah, definitely not. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what you mean by all fields. You know, I think about all fields, and I think about, like, walk-ons and rentals and stuff like that. So I'm like, probably not with rental players and, you know, people that have never played paintball before. So I don't know. Let's watch this. This is going to be kind of long. Schwartz with that $9.99 super chat. What does that 3 mean, though? That's really cool. Too lazy to get Patreon, even though I could support a few groups with it. I hear you. I hear you. You know, the one thing I didn't like about Patreon for a long time was that it was only like on a website. You had to go to like patreon.com. But now they have their app. It's actually really easy. I don't know. That's just a tip. But it really is easy. Because it kind of sucked before. You had to like go to the website when new stuff was posted. And then now, you know, you just get a notification on your phone if you want. It's really kind of easy. Oh, I appreciate it. You know it's bad when a Californian is complaining about rain. That just means it's never raining. I mean, today was beautiful. It was 70 degrees. But if it's a light sprinkle, I'm going to complain. That's for sure. Let's watch this together. I've not watched this, and I'm kind of curious about kind of what happens in this. So this is Russell. We're gonna pause it. I might have just blown everybody's ears out. This is Russell. I'm blanking on Russell's last name. Russell from GOG. It's kind of like their main tech. You're gonna see him at like tournaments, and he's working in the booth and all that stuff. And I'm just curious what he says. I mean, this is probably gonna be one of the best videos we're gonna find on the Shocker era ever, just because he knows everything. I mean, he helped build the goddamn thing, so he's gonna know way more than any of us ever will. It's definitely not a review, but it's gonna help point out maybe more of the changes and kind of what the era is all about. So I'll shut up for a second and then interrupt him when I want.
Because we're using the same regulator internals, but we are going to see some advancements in sound signature as well as paint handling in small and large paint. And then we also utilized our warranty repair system to look at some of the
purple does look really good though. I really like that purple one.
With the amp
purple just looks good. I don't
previous
think I've seen the
generation of
purple in
Shocker,
person
so that we
yet.
can make sure they were addressed.
I like the
era.
solid color.
So let's take a look
How
at
like
what some of those
everything's
changes
purple.
ended up being.
Kinda
So one
everything.
of the first things people ask about when we launch a new marker is about the name. Where did it come from? In this case, the era. So the era actually came from one of our new members of our design team, Ryan Moorhead, sketched out what he thought the new Shocker should look like, calling in design cues from a lot of the previous generations of Shocker to get what you see here today. So you have the knurled back cap like you would have seen on the old shoebox. You have the echo milled into the side like you did on the NXT.
The echo. That's
you
what
have an
they call
overall
that thing.
smooth and simple body like you did on the SFT. And then up towards the front, we referenced that new knurled styling that came with the Freak starting this past season.
Knurled, I guess.
So you have a nice redesign aesthetically that calls back to all the design cues of the entire Shocker era. On the topic of Freak XL, the Shocker era still utilizes the Freak XL insert system with that 8-inch control bore in the back. However, last year we introduced the 15-inch All-American, and that is now present.
Yeah, I really like that 15-inch.
What we did there
I don't know
was
why.
to
It's
redesign
obviously,
the porting
like a
and
very
the internal board
micro
to take advantage of
difference
some of the
barrel
smaller
length.
paint that's available.
Oh yeah, look at the porting. It does look smaller too. Huh. I never noticed that. But side by side, you can tell that porting's a little smaller.
As well as reduce the amount of paint, water, and dirt intrusion that can happen in your porting. Next, we addressed a lot of the ergonomic.
I've never complained about dirt intrusion with the barrel.
Take a look at, and starting right up front was our foregrip. First of all, we added texture and changed more space here between the base of the grip and the bolt of the era. It's a simple quarter turn and pull, just like it was on the amp, and it comes straight out the back.
Is it on a green screen, or is that like an actual white background? It's so white. Or it's like kind of gray gradient.
Start against the amp core. Again, just turning and pulling straight out the back. And there you have your amp core. Now, there will be some visual similarities, and there's even some shared parts. So let's take a closer look at what makes each one of these cores unique and where the era has its advancements.
Russian Legion Shockers.
So we've gone ahead and torn down both the bolt kits to take a look at
I love that goddamn old school Russian Legion Shocker. It was cool how it had like the
on this side we have
like the
amp,
wire
on
trigger
this side
guard.
We have the era. Starting in the back, we're going to take a look at the rear assembly for the amp and the rear assembly for the era. Aside from the size of the back cap and the color of the QEV, these are going to be largely identical. The QEV changes color because we've changed some tolerance as well as some production methods, and the white just helps us separate the two parts internally in our assembly department. Next up is the shuttle flow. So we've made the era shuttle lighter and higher flow, which is going to enhance its mechanical performance, especially at high rates of fire. We've also increased the spring rate in the shuttle, which is going to help with consistency of the core when individual things happen in an effort to be easier on brittle and cold paint. And this is where you're going to see some of those redesigns. Most notably at the top, you'll see that the tip of the spool shaft is significantly smaller on the amp versus the Era, which then takes us into our bolt guides. Now you notice the bolt guides are significantly different between the Era
For sure.
and the amp. The Era integrates this new cone, which is actually an anti-rollback feature. It mates with our bolt and creates essentially a flat-faced bolt at rest. What's that?
Which is very similar
to.
I think that's very similar to. It's been so long since I've actually like paid attention to the CS3 bolt, but that's very similar, I think, to the CS3.
Paintball slightly
how they added that like
forward in the chamber,
cone
which
over the
again
front of the whatever
is
thing.
dealing with that smaller paint that is
Damn, look at that though. Look at how much more
common
with that cone actually touching the ball like that. It's
these
quite a
days.
bit of a difference. Look at that. Damn.
The next change you're going to see is in the bolt itself. Now you'll notice the amp bolt is physically shorter, and as well as missing this air skirt which you see on the Era bolt. The Era bolt integrates this air skirt, which does two things. First of all, it slows down the delivery of the air to the ball, so it's going to be easier on brittle paint. It's also going to soften the sound signature slightly. So you're going to have very similar decibel readings between the two markers, but the Era is going to have much less of a pop in its shot than the amp.
Which
Up
I don't know
front,
if I
we
like.
have
You know, I
the
really
bolt
like the way that,
caps.
like, I like that kind of
The
poppy
Era,
feedback
obviously, is
sometimes
blue.
from some of these
The
guns.
amp is black. The main changes here have to do with flow control. Now you'll notice that the amp does have a O-ring here that floats on the chamber, which does restrict flow. However, the Era integrates two different O-ring grooves, which represent two different settings. Now, if you have a player
They
that
made them
has
in
a tendency
heaven.
not to clean their equipment, or if you're playing in extremely dirty or extremely cold
I don't
conditions,
clean my equipment
you can go
ever,
ahead and move that
but that's
O-ring
also why I don't use a
position,
shocker.
which is going to increase your airflow to your firing chamber by about 80%. The reason for that is it's going to break stiction easier, so in extreme cold, it's going
Stiction.
to break away from a stop better. And
I
in
don't
the
know if I
instance
ever
where you have a
heard
player
that
who doesn't
word
take care
away
of their
from
equipment,
paintball stuff.
the lack of lubrication
Stiction.
also
It's like
causes
a new
stiction,
word everyone's
and this
using.
increase in flow will fight that. Finally, let's take a look at the firing chambers. They are identical between the markers. It just simply holds air. They do thread in both ways, so you have those two parts in common. So moving on, let's take a look at some of the feedback driven changes on the Era that have enhanced the reliability. As I mentioned previous in the video, a lot of the changes in the Era were driven by player feedback. And there's nothing
Which they
more
should
important to
be.
a player
I mean,
than
if you're a company
reliability.
not taking player
So we
feedback,
took a look
I don't know
at
what
our
you're
warranty
doing.
repair system and addressed the outstanding issues that we could do on this new model. And we
kinda wanna
noticed
see
the
what he
number one
says here.
reason that players were bringing their marker back to us at events
Loose trigger frames.
or sending it in had the common denominator of Loctite. Now, Loctite is a thread locker that's used to take a threaded component like an airport, thread it into the
Loctite.
body, and then make it airtight. The drawback to Loctite is that around 110 degrees Fahrenheit,
It boils.
it starts to break down. So players that were down in
turns into
Florida,
vapor.
Texas, Southern California, if they left their markers in the car
What about
too
Nebraska?
long and then immediately gassed it up after taking it out, you could damage or even break the Loctite, which would cause a leak. So in the Era, we eliminated all of the Loctite. There is a port between the frame
Which they should. I mean, I
body
don't.
and
I
between
mean,
the body
this
and the
also
frame.
addresses another
Utilize a
problem that they
brand new
have.
air transfer system, essentially a stainless steel floating tube that goes between the
Because I mean, one of the problems they'd have is that the frame,
body and frame and ASA, which actually
the frame would bend. Like not bend, but you could really torque the frame. And when you torqued the frame down, it would like lose connection, and the air would have a problem. It'd also have a problem with the eyes sometimes. But adding those little posts in there, supposedly if you torque the frame like crazy, or the grip frames the grip screws get loose, or grip frame screws get loose, sorry, or that ASA even gets loosed, you can kind of see in there that silver piece toward the front, so it should still
float
continue
so that
to
your
work,
frame or ASA
even though if it's
perceivably
loose.
and it still won't leak any air. So
right
you
there.
have the advantage of eliminating the Loctite as well.
But I don't know if that was a Loctite problem. I still think that that's a problem in the way that the gun
frame is
mounts to
loose,
the
even if
frame,
the ASA
body.
is loose. So that's a distinct advantage here with the Era. In addition to changing the air ports themselves, we've actually gone ahead and framed in the trigger frame itself. You notice the body now
Which helps a whole
shrouds the
lot.
frame, and that does a couple things.
It won't get
First of
as
all,
much
it protects
side
the
to
electronic
side.
connections that are in there with your eyes and your solenoid.
Yeah.
And then it also allows easier frame alignment when installing your frame, going from electronic to mechanical, or if you've taken it apart just for service. Leaving no stone unturned when developing a new marker is key. So even though the electronic system in the previous shockers was incredibly reliable, we took a look at what could be improved. Now, water resistance, dust resistance, shock resistance, and even battery life have been outstanding with the shocker platform. So what we did was to examine our warranty records one more time to see why exactly and if exactly any customers were having issues.
You know, that is a
with
good
their
idea
boards.
though, to look at like,
What we actually found
look
was
at all
that
the
number
warranty
one
stuff.
reason for board damage had nothing to do with water, dirt, or paint, and everything to do with how the trigger was
yeah,
adjusted.
people were breaking up
Players would adjust the
micro
trigger improperly, allowing the trigger to come back and damage the micro switch that was on the board. So what we did was reposition the micro switch down further, putting a longer lever, and machining a wall into the grip frame, which protects the micro switch. The knock-on effect of this is a much more lively trigger than previous generations. So for those of you that
Yeah, that's
enjoy
true. I mean, I
semi-auto
haven't
or
actually looked at the board yet, because it's true. Like, I think see how, like, there's both those switches, and you have that leaf spring, I think that's what they call that metal piece on top that actually contacts the micro switch. Having that, like, piece longer is going to make more leverage, maybe. And the trigger just might feel a little different because of having the additional leverage from having that piece be a little longer. I could be completely crazy, but I think it might just that alone might help.
The knock-on effect of this is a much
Or
more
might
lively
change the
trigger
way
than
it's
previous
feeling.
generations. So for those of you that enjoy semi-auto or just
That's
didn't
probably what he
particularly
means
care
by
for the
more
previous
lively. It
generation
kind of just
shocker
feels a
trigger,
little
you'll
crisper.
find that the new Era has a completely different feel in addition to
It for sure
outstanding
does.
reliability. And there you have it, the Shocker Era.
Shocker Era.
While the amp was a quantitative improvement, by the numbers better than every previous shocker, the Era is a qualitative improvement, utilizing 3 years of player feedback on the amp from all levels of play.
Okay, I mean, I don't know. Yeah, Shocker Era. I mean, you know, I've held a handful of these things numerous times and talked about them. Not played with it yet. I haven't even bought one yet, mainly because I just want to buy one when I'm going to go play. And or when I'm able to get to the field and film stuff. And I probably won't do that for another weekish or so. I don't know. It's really kind of dependent on what the weather's like. It's supposed to rain all weekend again, so, you know. It just makes it hard to film paintball videos when it's freaking raining. The amp definitely needed improvement. The Ultimate Rental says. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people like their amps, though. A lot of people have been very happy with the amp. I think more people are probably happy with the amp than they were the RSX. Or the XLS, for that matter. When is the auction for the Era? If you're referring to the raffle for the Era when I review it, I couldn't tell you exactly when, because it's kind of going to depend on when I get it and when the reviews it comes out. It's something like that. But typically, if the review goes, when the review's up in the next few days, I'll put it in the Paintball Ruined My Life Facebook group. Yeah. I was thinking about, I might change that situation, but that's typically where they're always ending up. The Shocker Era, it's just kind of cool. Who knows? That's Russell. That is Russell. Let's see if Russell says his name in this actual video.
Hi, Russell with SP, and in this video we're going to be taking a look at the
What the hell is
shocker
Russell's
era.
last name?
What
I'm
we're
blanking on his
specifically
last
going to
name.
be doing is looking at the differences between...
So if you know Russell's name, Russell's last name, shout it out in the chat so we can figure out his last name. Shoebox shocker would be sweet, but the weight would be an issue. Old Soul says. It made the original shot quality. It made the original shot quality though. I don't know. It just shot well. Yeah, it'd be freaking Russell. No, it's definitely not Russell. Russell Jackson? That sounds right. I know like 4 Russells, and I always get them like mixed up. Russell Jackson. Yeah, he's awesome. Every time I've talked to him, he's been great. I've seen him. They've talked to him a couple of times at tournaments, and then, you know, when I own the paintball store, I talked to him a handful of times. Yep. The bolt comb reminds me of the CS2. Yeah, it's very Planet Eclipse-y. I almost ripped apart my... Do I even have that gun in here? I don't even know. I don't know where my EMEC's at. I was gonna like rip apart the EMEC really fast and try to see. Who knows? Lux Idol, the mind unlock says Lux. He says Lux Idol will be an even crazier from this era base internals. I don't know. I don't really know what that means. Hopefully it's crazier. I mean, they even said it was going to be crazier. I mean, what did they say? They said about the Lux Idol. They said meticulous designed. Meticulously designed. I really don't like the way that sounds. Meticulously designed, redefined, and with the most features of any previous model change. That's actually what they said. So let's hope so. I mean, we should be seeing that thing honestly probably in about a month. I think that they estimated late January for an arrival time for those things. Although we might see them a little bit sooner because they have started taking pre-orders. So it's possible that they ship a little bit sooner than that, but I don't really know. So just bought a green amp on sale and I love it. Yeah, the amps are a very good deal right now. And there's honestly, from, you know, we just watched that shot, that era thing, there's not, it doesn't really seem like there's a substantial difference. And you can get eras right now, or not eras, you can get, how much are Shocker amps right now? Like 600 bucks? I got freaking cables all over the goddamn place. 700 bucks, my bad. $6.99. Yeah, that's right. What I said, I knew that. If I just would have said $6.99. What other features could there be? Legit question. From like, of the, what do you mean for what though? Like from the Idol? If it's the Lux Idol, you know, I really don't know. I mean, I don't know. I mean, the Lux kind of has like everything, right? It's all toolless. It comes with, I think, now a very good bolt system. I like the screen on the back. I like how it's an OLED screen. You can see it in the daylight. You know, I don't know. I honestly have no idea. I don't know what they're going to change. I have no clue. You know, it's kind of like with some of these guns, like, you know, if Planet Eclipse said that, you could be like, well, they could do this because it didn't have this before, but like, it's kind of crazy. I mean, it has a speaker in the side of the thing. Aaron says it already wirelessly charged. Yeah, they have the wireless charger, like, upgrade kit. They have a very good mechanical frame. I don't know. It's $1,800 though. We do know that, so it's going to be $200 more than that TM40, which isn't, you know, that big of a surprise. You know, everything's gotten more expensive, so who knows? But we'll find out. I mean, definitely find out pretty soon here. I could probably find out tomorrow if I wanted to, really. But we're going to wait. You know, we're going to wait until we actually have stuff in hand to find out the difference between the TM40 and the Idol. It's kind of interesting, you know. I talked about this last live stream too. You know, the Planet Eclipse guns have just gotten so like boring. It's like I feel like it's the same thing over and over. You know, the Geo4 and the CS2 and the CS3 and the 170R and the 180R and the Etha 3, and it's like they're kind of all the same thing. You know, it just doesn't feel like that interesting. So the Luxes have kind of been growing on me. I've never really liked Luxes, but you know, because I think the Planet Eclipse guns have been so boring, they're kind of growing me a little bit. So I kind of hope that the Idol makes me want one. I mean, ultimately that's what I want. You know, I want it to be so cool that it's kind of exciting, and I, you know, want to get one. I'm probably not going to get one. I'm definitely not going to get one. But I want to get one. We'll say that. Invest in a Geo4. It's a paintball artifact that belongs in a museum. I had a Geo4 for a long time, maybe like a year. I didn't like mine. I don't know why I didn't like it. I just didn't like it. Billy Idol. How about Billie Eilish? It would be awesome to see Planet Eclipse guns, see more Planet Eclipse guns hit the market. The HK, Fossil, and the Project LVs look dope. But more variety would be nice. You know the best looking LV2 though? Oopsie. You know, I don't know if I've really liked the I don't know, I'm trying to find a good picture. Whatever, we'll just do this one. I think this is maybe not this specific color, but this is probably, I think, the best LV2 ever made. Whoa. The Twister LV2 that you can buy right now. I mean, just look at the milling on that thing. Look at how deep those cuts are and stuff. It just looks really good. I think that this milling in this body style probably is going to look the best on this gun. I mean, they also did the CS3, but having those huge side, you know, where the LPR and then that top tube where the barrel screws in, having that huge blank spot right there really does kind of allow that milling to kind of like show off quite a bit better, I think, than the CS3. Let's see if we can find a CS3 really fast. I'll show you guys what I'm saying. That's not a CS3. That's a CS2. I don't know, it doesn't really matter because they're almost the same exact gun. So this is the CS2 Twister. And you can kind of see, I don't know, it just looks like the milling, I feel like, fits that body better. It's like thicker and it just kind of looks a little bit better. Or is the milling different on those? Yeah, a little bit. I just think it looks a little better. I like that like flatter body look for the LV2. I don't know, I just think it looks cooler. That's my favorite one. Ben also says, wish they got an Orbit LV2. The Orbit LV2 would be very cool. Do I have the Orbit? I don't want that on. I don't have any of the Orbit stuff on here anymore. Project LV2s? Nope. Project... Man, I don't got any of those old pictures in there. Never mind. Yeah. There are quite a few private label Eclipse guns, though. I mean, there's way more than, like, anything else. I mean, there's... you know, there's been a handful of the Shockers and Luxes and stuff that people have made. There's certainly been more private label Eclipse guns. Although the Adrenaline guns are really cool, and apparently Adrenaline is going to be coming out with something soon. I don't really know what Adrenaline's going to come out with, but I believe that Adrenaline's going to come out with a new gun. I don't know. I kind of exchanged some messages with them, and they, like about a month and a half ago, but I can't remember which gun they said it was. They might not have even told me, but I believe that Adrenaline is going to be coming out with something new. I don't know. You got used to amazing and now want something different. You got used to amazing and now something. Planet Eclipse is boring because you take for granted how well made they are. Not really. I say boring because they're just the same gun over and over, you know? It's kind of like the Egos for a long time. I mean, the 5, 6, 7, and 8, it's like, well, they're kind of the same thing. But that was, you know, only a 4-year time span. Now we're seeing guns for like years. You know, I mean, the CS2 came out years ago. Like years, like 7 years ago or 6 years ago, you know. I definitely, I don't know. But when I buy stuff, it's definitely based on reliability. Like, that's the only thing that matters to me. So it has to be reliable. And that's really why I just keep choosing the Planet Eclipse guns. So I do not think that the Adrenaline gun will be a Shocker Era or a Lux. I saw a couple of you guys said that. I don't think so. Because when we talked, those guns weren't even out. And they like said they watched something that I did, or they took into account something I did on their new gun or something like that. So I would assume it's not an idle in an era, unless they got like, you know, pre-production eyes on it or something. But I don't think I would do that if I was, you know, Smart Parts or whatever we're calling themselves. I don't think that I would want custom guns to come out for about a year later. Mainly because you want to sell the ones that you have. You know, you don't want to. Well, I don't know. Maybe not, but I think that I'd probably wait a little bit. Send It 650 says, my dad used to play when he was a teenager, and he swears the Piranha guns were the best guns ever made. Is he right? You know, I liked my Piranha. I think Piranhas were probably better than Spiders, but they're definitely not the best ever. Adrenaline, Daniel Lee says Adrenaline has confirmed that their new gun is an idol. Well, interesting. I don't know. We'll find out. I just assumed it was something else by the way that we were exchanging words. I don't know. I don't know. It's going to be interesting though, because you know that like the Mama's Boys milling on Intimidators. You mean the NorCal Intimidator? My cousin has one of those. There's only 12, which is really cool. Yeah, who knows if it's an idol? Who knows they're going to change? I mean, because their Adrenaline Lux, when they changed a handful of things, it wasn't a dramatic a lot of things. It was kind of more like little feature cosmetic-y things they changed. Who knows? I'd like to see it. The NorCal Intimidator it's even more impressive that you know it's a Mama's Boys gun though. I used to have Mama's Boys pants, the Smart Parts pants that said NorCal on the side. Maybe I should try to get that NorCal Intimidator. My cousin also has like an Ironmen Matrix as well, like an old school Ironmen Matrix. Who knows? Lucas J-Rab, do you do YouTube full time? No, not really. I mean, I'm gonna try to again. I've been doing it sort of full time for the last week. Maybe, you know, I definitely want to try to. That's kind of one of the reasons I've been trying to push stuff to people. One of the reasons we've talked about Patreon a little bit here. You know, obviously paintball on YouTube is not the most lucrative thing for a handful of reasons. You know, paintball is just not big enough. It's just like impossible to get lots of views. And YouTube doesn't like paintball, so sometimes videos get demonetized and you can't make any money and whatever. So one of the reasons I bring up Patreon or have brought back Patreon is if people like these videos, if you like live streams, just want to support the channel and then maybe have a chance to win some stuff or something, do check out Patreon. There's 5 different tiers. There's never been 5. There's 3 tiers. This is $1. You can just kick down whatever. Some of these you'll get early access to videos. You get ad-free videos. So if I ever put ads and stuff, longer edits on some stuff. I want to try to figure out how to make longer videos specifically for Patreon. So we're going to probably try to do that this next video. You get a special role in Discord and then special access to the private Patreon Discord channel. The next one, that next tier up, you get a couple more things. We're going to have behind the scenes stuff. We put up some behind the scenes stuff for 2 videos so far. Definitely going to do them with the Shocker era. I plan on putting a lot of stuff kind of in this gold tier for any of you guys in the gold tier about the Shocker era. There'll be definitely more gameplay stuff. Hopefully a longer style review. And some other things. Definitely behind the scenes. That's what I was looking for. Yep. But that one right there, too, you're going to get access to monthly product giveaways that we're going to do here on the 3rd Thursday of every month. So John, I can't even begin to pronounce John's last name if you're out there. He won the first one, which was a bunch of paintball DNA stuff. You got a gun stand. You got one of those cool blunderbuss barrels. What else was in there? A Jolo hopper. A few tchotchkes and knickknacks. The next time we're probably going to do, I don't know, probably carbon. There'll be a carbon giveaway. I have one of the carbon nano barrels right here. The carbon new nano barrel that takes those power or S63 inserts. So if you want a chance to win that, or just be an awesome person and help support this channel, go check out Patreon. Sign up for that gold tier right there to get access to win that carbon barrel. Okay. That's the Patreon plug. Patreon's easy. You can sign up on your phone. It's real simple now. It's really kind of cool. How does the Geo4 stack up against the 3 or 2? Probably the same. I mean, you know, I think that the 3 and the 4 are very similar. The Geo2 is probably going to shoot similar. It's probably not as air efficient. And the newer guns might be a little bit quieter. But they're pretty close, you know. Ultimate Rental, fun with barrels with Brad. I do want to do that too. That's also something that's gonna happen. Over on Patreon, I will put that up as well. I want to do like a, you know, the whole point of these barrels, these like, you know, nano barrels. Let's kind of do this. Do I have that camera set up? Dude, I don't know why this isn't working. That like switch does not work. You can use that code if you want at Kinetic. The whole point of like, you know, these teeny holes is, are we gonna be able to focus even on those? Yeah, look at those. They're like miniature microscopic holes. The whole point of that is to like reduce water ingress. And then apparently it sounds considerably different than a lot of other barrels out there. So we're gonna test that. I want to test what it actually sounds like, and then see if it sounds any different. That's not something that I would normally put on YouTube just because it's kind of boring. So I'll put that up on Patreon too if people want to actually like find out what the Carbon IC Power Nano Barrel is like. Yeah, and you can use that too if you want. 10% off at Kinetic Paintball. You can get some pants. You can get their KMP, the Kinetic Modular Pack, that I like a lot. It's pretty nice. The KMP. What's everyone talking about now? Geo 4 is a bit chunkier. That's true. It's definitely going to feel bigger. A little bit. I mean, that rear trigger frame, the grip frame's not like dramatic, but definitely going to be just longer, and the front foregrip's going to feel bigger and stuff for sure. Yep. So what's with that pillow on the head? I don't know, it's to film a video. It's just to be an idiot. It wasn't that funny. It was actually funny at the field. I don't know if it was funny in video. I got a ride in his Supra when they moved shops and had that tiny ass indoor field. Who? Who's got a Supra? I don't have a Supra. I mean, I'll take one. If people are giving away Supras, you know. Gang, gang. Everybody like this video. If you're watching this, Ultimate Rental, Old Soul, Nerd in New York City. I'm just reading your people's names. The Mind Unlocked. That's a crazy day for YouTube. Like this video. Like the live stream. It's very helpful when people actually like stuff. You know, you give a little signal back to YouTube, and they're like, oh, people actually like this. They're not just clicking it and walking away. I got one person to do it. I'm so bad at this. I need to be better at, like, promoting myself, which we did a good job there with Patreon. And, you know, we talked about merch for a second there. There's a code for Kinetic. Send It 605 just joined Patreon. And there's technically a free tier. You can do that as well. And then I'll kind of post stuff there randomly. But to get the good stuff, you know, if you want the goods, if you want the cool stuff, like this is kind of fun, actually. We're going to experiment. That's kind of an experiment for me, too, that behind the scenes stuff. Giveaways, that's a good one right there, too. Okay. Always liked your content. Keep it up. I appreciate it. What does this actually mean? Is this like praise? Like, my hands looks weird though. When I do it, it makes me look, my hands look fucking huge. I have those NFL quarterback hands. That's what I have. I look like I could be a quarterback in the NFL. I can't play like one, that's for sure. Ethan, the original owner of Free Flow. Oh, okay. There's a bunch of you here, and I've got nothing to talk about, and you guys aren't giving me things to talk about. Let's talk about stuff. Oh, we can watch this. Let's watch this. You guys ready? Y'all ready for this? Maybe I should have, like... Gonna be loud.
Casting styles in this gunfight, J-Rab, one of the best back players in the game. Alex Fraige, more of a pure first attacker, known for his relentless aggression, his creativity, his fearlessness.
Okay, so
styles make fights. Well, styles make gunfights too, and this should be interesting. So we're throwing 20 minutes on the clock, and we're jumping into point number 1.
I want to get the audio like perfect.
Off the break.
So yeah, if you guys haven't seen, the Hormesis 1v1 tour, it's the, sponsored by Hormesis, and I'll make sure we got some audio in there, yeah, kind of headed up by Oliver Lang, and he kind of toured around the country, went to about 8 different cities this year, and set up some of these cool one-on-one matches. And this is just kind of an exhibition between Alex Fraige right there and J-Rab on the other side. And I really like this. I watched the entire thing. It was really fun to watch. And I'd really would like to see this happen. I think that it's good for everyone. I think that this is one thing that me as a paintball player, I want to watch. And it's something that's really easy for like anybody to watch. So I think that, you know, we could get random people stumbling into this and watching it. If we could get this stuff somehow streamed on YouTube, I'd love to get like a crowd there. If there could be like bleachers on all 4 sides of the field, I'd really like to see, you know, on each sides, like, you know, we'll say like the right side and left side, as well as do like, you know, bleachers on the back side so you can kind of look like at that angle right there. I think it would be very, very fun to be at live. I mean, the action is like super quick. I mean, you're giving people 30 seconds or so in between those points. I think the only thing that I might experiment with a little bit is making the field slightly longer, like maybe like another half row of bunkers on the backs on each side. Obviously you can't do half bunkers, but maybe make the field like 4 feet longer or something like that. But it's really cool. I really enjoyed this. And I think if we could increase the production quality on this, it could be something that's, you know, actually fun for anyone to watch. I mean, maybe the perfect venue for this would be the NXL. I don't know how they do that though. I don't know how you'd schedule that. I mean, I'd really like to be able to watch players like this play, but obviously they have their like, you know, 5-man teams they also have to play for as well. You know, both of these guys are mic'd up, so they have microphones, which is really cool. Getting these shots right there like that is awesome. How you can like, they're staring right back at each other and you kind of have to decide what you're going to do off the break really quickly. Because you can see the guys. I really like it. I just wish that somehow we could get higher production value. I think having the cows in the background is wonderful. There's some chickens at some point. More farm animals would be great. I mean, right there, they could be more animals in the background right there. It'd be so easy. I really like it though. They had Matt Marshall kind of do some announcing stuff.
Yeah. And after this, we're gonna switch sides. Cool. Thank you. Okay, so I'll meet you down there. Thank you. Thank you. Stand up in front of your gun, please.
Was there an Archie and Ryan episode? Really, I didn't know that. Well, I can't wait either then.
So all tied up 2-2.
I have to wait.
Give it to me! I'm not going in, baby! Come on!
Alex.
See how fun
already
that
starting
is?
to
I just
chirp.
think that's
Love
fun,
it.
dude. I think if you get the right kind of
Yeah, he's
players
quite
to
the
play
rascal.
as well, it can be just cool to
Yosh
watch.
Getting him when popping the top, changing levels, so important.
Obviously, experimenting
In a
with
paintball
camera
gunfight.
angles would be a good
And
idea, but I
Yosh
would
did it
really
absolutely
like to
perfect.
see crowds and like bleachers on both sides. I mean, if we had just 500 people all around the edge of this with just, you know, aluminum bleachers or something, it'd be really cool. Jonathan says, talk about the Lux Idol. What about the Lux Idol? I don't know. We talked about that last week for like an hour. Been talked about that for like 30 minutes about 20 minutes ago, 15 minutes ago.
Some little advice from Oliver there on the gunfight. Always key to try to figure out the tendencies of your opponents, what they're doing over and over again, if you can read that pattern.
Some of you guys, I think, paused this though and like are watching it back 20 minutes, but in the chat, and it's super confusing.
Yeah, Alex
I don't know,
continuing
it's
to
like a
be a
glare
little
from
bit
a
more
light.
mobile, but
You got, like,
just not quite
orange
working
on
out
my
for him, and
face.
that is just the masterful zone control and accuracy
I'm good. Actually, I'll take a
of
look.
J-Rab.
You know, normally I'm not that big fan of one-on-ones. I don't like to play one-on-ones necessarily, but I don't know, maybe in this format I would like it more. I definitely like to watch it. It's definitely very fun to watch. I think that that's kind of been bared out, right? Like if we go to YouTube, lots of mosquitoes lately. If we go to Go Sports,
A little water down the back, some words of encouragement from
Sports
Oliver
on
Lane.
YouTube.
Alex needs one right now. You in a one-on-one battle like this.
pause that really quickly. We're gonna go here and do that. And if we go to all their videos, right, and we search by the most popular thing on YouTube, look at Ultimate Shootout has 2.2 million views. And the next game, the next match has, the next popular video has 660 something thousand. So that's a considerable difference, you know, in the amount of people actually watching. You can look at the likes as well. It has 18,000 versus the 3.5. So I think that this format, not specifically Ultimate Shootout maybe, but something similar to the Ultimate Shootout is a wonderful, wonderful idea. And I think it could be, you know, actually fun to watch and actually help paintball. I think that that's Oliver's idea, at least, by starting
It looks like Mario's
the
gonna head
1v1
towards the
stuff
car
up for
wash
him.
side of the field and immediately elimination.
But you can see this Ultimate Shootout field that they did during COVID is considerably larger,
And
with some like unique bunkers as well. They're bunkers that we're not really seeing on the field, like those weird triangle.
And I think Mark's strategy, a lot of this is going to
thingies.
be, he's not so much going to care about.
But I think it's a great idea. I think it's very good. Obviously, I was saying the production value, and I think that this looks really good.
Yeah.
If we could just have, like, you know, some crowds
Yeah, I
and
think he's
stuff.
just gonna keep going for points.
yeah, Ryan Brand also
Ultimate Shootout was really cool, though. And I hope that we can, you know, I just hope we could, you know, maybe see some more of that
Yosh
action.
goes
in
gun
the
dominant
future.
again. Alex staying out on him though. You just cannot start to let your opponent get in a rhythm.
But this was a very good match. If you guys actually
Might
want
have
to
been a
watch this
simultaneous
entire
hit,
thing
you
in
know,
its
looks like
entirety,
Alex was able to
it
get
is
Yosh
over
this time,
on the
so that- yeah,
Hormesis
that's
YouTube
exactly what
channel.
Alex needed to do.
Or there's
Keep
a
it
link in the
close.
description
Make
of this
Yosh
video
think
that'll take you right over there
about
as
his
well.
gunfight decisions.
I got one more and
Alex,
then air.
One more point and then a little bit of a top off of air.
I love the 1v1. Would love to see a mech version.
Oliver a little bit more proactive as a coach. I'm not even
I don't
actually
know.
sure who's coaching Alex right now.
I mean, I don't think it's not that I wouldn't play it. You know, I'd rather play mechanical. But I think one of the things that's kind of appealing about one-on-ones, at least like they're doing it right here, is that the field's really small and the games are fast and quick. So I think that having guns that shoot
Ooh, and
faster
Alex is going to get another
is a little
gunfight
bit
in
more
here,
interesting,
and that
you
is
know.
going to tie it up at 4-4. So
just 'cause it
like
makes it a
we
little bit
thought,
more exciting and whatever.
This one is close.
To the same side he is, then playing the inside on him. Yeah, no.
Nightball has been around at Fit for a while. Yeah, that's true. Eli says. Yep. That shootout, I was just at Paintball Fit. Their lights are amazing at Paintball Fit. I mean, like, amazing. It's like, it's kind of shocking how good it looks. It's only just because, you know, it's just recently that they've had those LED kind of lights be a thing. You know, I mean, back in the day trying to light paintball fields, it was kind of not really possible because the
Massive
cost was
moment
so
right
high.
now for Yosh, as if he can win a
Pretty crazy.
gunfight as he just did. So gonna retake the lead, a slight lead still, as it has been a little bit back and forth. Both guys going on some runs though, putting up a couple. Alex will put up a couple, but Yosh is looking pretty crisp.
I really like this. I just wish we could see more.
And Oliver is just.
I
right
want
on
somehow I want to like do it
Everything is
myself or
perfectly
something. I was even looking at how much
written up for
bleachers
him.
cost the other day. I was like, we could do this at the local paintball field.
Oh! Ace, baby, I saw it go in there.
Ooh, Alex.
Yeah, that's
did
also
it.
something
Alex, get
interesting.
the
You know, they have
ace,
these
he did.
aces,
No,
they
you just
call
got the
it,
perfect one.
where if you
Oliver
shoot a
just
guy right off
on
the
it.
break, they call that an ace. And I think that'd be kind of an interesting time for a 2-point. You know, you could get 1 point when you hit the buzzer or shoot a guy, and then maybe get a 2-pointer when you shoot someone off the break like that. Because that's so crazy.
Ace, baby, I
It's
saw it
pretty
go in
hard
there.
to do that.
Alex did. Alex
'Cause it's
get the
so quick.
Ace, he did.
I mean, you have to
just
be
got the
like
perfect one.
shooting and moving instantaneously when the buzzer goes off, or you're gonna get shot. So being able to move and
the ace
shoot
is-
like that
you
is
get a kill
pretty. It's
immediately in the
not
first
that
engagement.
simple. I think that they might have gotten 1 or 2 of those in this whole entire match. Juan Carlos Santiago.
Same thing.
That's such a good name. If that's your real name, that's a really good name.
Have a little stop of water on the next one.
I'm waiting for my UV I'm waiting for my UV Sonic loader that's on back order, but there's a guy that designed a unit that converts an airsoft tracer unit for paintballs. Definitely looking forward to it. Yeah, I think that HK Army might have actually put that video up too, or a video up of using that like tracer airsoft unit thing that's like maybe at the end of a barrel, those are. But I think one of the problems with paintballs is they're just so much larger. It's kind of hard to charge or send that ultraviolet light into the BB or into the paintball because it's so much bigger, you know. Airsoft BBs are so small. I think you got to let it, you know, sit in that light quite a bit longer with paintballs to get them glowing. I don't really know though.
Oh, there it is!
I mean, the real problem with paintball is we just don't do it in an environment typically where you can see that. You know, maybe if we were playing indoor a little bit more, or, you know, playing at night more, it would be cool. But, you know, we're always kind of playing in the middle of the afternoon. And I've not shot the UV stuff in the middle of the afternoon. I still want to kind of try it to see if it does anything at all. It might not. You might not be able to tell at all, so it might not be that useful. I'm assuming you can't see it at all. I mean, the sun is way brighter than those things. See, look at how they don't give much time to restart, and, you know, Alex is getting tired. You can already kind of tell the guns are shooting slower off the break. You're not as crisp.
Try to tie this one up. Yosh takes advantage of it, of course. Alex turns his gun on.
I guess his gun was off. That's why he didn't shoot.
Oh. He gets bounced off the bat, had some sort of gun issue.
Aaron says, it would be cool for a tournament.
I mean, that's one of the things
HK
Alex
has
really
a
good at
little
after all
opportunity
these years,
for
maybe
something
really
cool. Yeah. That is kind of true. I don't know why a manufacturer doesn't do this, because this would not be a super hard thing for some of the manufacturers to do. I mean, it wouldn't cost you a lot of money. They could have it on a one-off random weekend in LA somewhere. Set up some bleachers. They've got enough, like, damn, I'm looking for something. They've got enough people in LA where you can easily have, like, people playing it.
Answers. Yeah, this is perfect.
HK did their one-on-one too, though. They had the Pro Tour. I was trying to remember what it was called.
With about, what, maybe 8.5?
The HK Army Pro Tour.
I was just thinking I can go if I call and I can go the other tank.
There's a bunch of talking in this one, though. This one was kind of weird, though. It was edited maybe a little too much, and the field was a little odd, but they definitely used that smaller layout. So it's kind of like, I mean, I feel like we're on to something, though. I mean, a lot of these, you know, things they've tried, and they've kind of worked out. So it's like, I don't know why we don't try it more. I think what they should do it. I mean, unfortunately, this place that they're playing at right there,
and Yosh with the snapshot, but
is no longer
must have not broken
an actual thing.
Oh. I mean, you bounced me on my head, but I don't have any way of knowing that. So.
Interesting.
So I don't get.
Interesting.
Anyway, yeah, if you guys want to watch this, go check out the entire thing. The Hormesis YouTube channel, or like I said, there's a link below. But I just think one-on-ones would be cool. I'm all about them. You should watch the FXS 1v1s. We recreated this format. If I search that on the internet, will it work? I don't know. I can't find anything. I searched and a bunch of like Go Sports stuff just came up when I searched FXS Paintball 1v1. Oh, no, I didn't. Never mind. I think this is it. Golly, I've got a lot. There's too many monitors and windows and stuff. Let's see.
Oh man, don't move. There you go, T-Way.
T-Way. What is that horrible noise, though?
Check the inside.
Where?
What?
I saw it, but I had to go in there to see the full hit.
I can't listen to the audio. Listen to that. Yeah, it looks cool. I don't know about the video, but it looks cool. It looks like it might have been fun. No offense to whoever made it. Rufino Studios. Yeah, we found it. It's so hard to film stuff like this. I mean, you need more camera angles probably. That's how I play one-on-ones. Just sit and friggin' wait. That guy's gonna get shot though. Looks like he's gonna get shot. Where is this at? Where is this at? FXS. Because there's a field in Sacramento, or the Bay Area, I should say, called FX Fairfield Extreme Sports or something like that. And I think that they also go by FXS. It doesn't look like that in the background though at all there. Yeah, one of the things someone said right there, Nikki Cuba, NC said, Nikki Cuba, are you Nikki? You're probably not Nikki Cuba. Nikki Cuba would have been good at these one-on-ones. You know what I also like to see is I think Nikki Cuba would just be entertaining. You know, one of the reasons I kind of think that Alex and Yosh playing together, especially Alex, because Alex is kind of funny and wants to have fun and he's outgoing and, you know, he's kind of just always dicking around, so he's a little bit entertaining. I think that, you know, specifically like targeting you know, players that are a little bit funnier or outgoing or whatever, stuff like that. It'd also be a good idea. And Nikki Cuba is certainly one of those guys. Yep, he'd be yelling "Night, night, sucker." It's so funny. I'm not him. I assume not. That would be great. He doesn't even have anything to do with paintball at all anymore. Funny. Yeah, Nikki's great. He's a funny cat. I think that I don't know what he's doing now. I know he was like working on oil platforms and stuff. I don't know if he's still doing that or like my stomach is gurgling. I don't know what he's doing. There you go, oil rigs. That's some crazy ass work too. I mean, those guys are crazy. Like that's a hard ass job. I mean, they work like 14-hour days for like 3 weeks or something like that and no days off or whatever. It's like, Jesus. It'd be scary too. I mean, you're floating on that big platform out there in the ocean. I don't know. It'd be kind of wacky. His car accident, I forgot about that, yes. I don't really remember, but I kind of do. Oil platforms. They better be making the big bucks. I mean, those oil companies are literally destroying our environment. So hopefully they're making money. Not that that's his fault. It's more of my fault, you know what I'm saying? Okay, what are we gonna talk about? Give me something, or I'm gonna go eat. I might just go eat either way. Because I am freaking hungry. My stomach is gurgling. I had some spaghetti. Because I thought that would tide me over until the conclusion of this. But I don't know if that's working. Beer? I don't know. I had way too much to drink on Monday night. Whew. That was Christmas night, right? Monday night was Christmas. Right? Yeah, Monday night. I had way too much to drink on Monday. Dude, and it just killed Tuesday and yesterday. Zach Patient got arrested. Really? What did Zach Patient get arrested for? Dude, way too much to drink on Monday, and then dude, it just killed me on Sunday. Brutal hangover most of the day, and then still felt just destroyed and exhausted on Wednesday. Yeah. Zach Patient arrested. Why does it say that in there? Did he really get arrested? What's for dinner? I don't actually know what we're doing for dinner. I actually think I'm alone, so I don't know. Oh, man. Is this better than an autococker? No. And last year, that was for drugs in last year. There's body cam footage. Okay. How do I find it? Jesus. Where the hell, how do you... Okay, is it... Well, obviously I'm not going to be able to find it if I put Zach Patient into YouTube and put body cam. Chris Williams with that 19.99 super chat. Thank you, sir. Happy New Year. We're getting damn close, aren't we? It just reminds me I gotta do my freaking income taxes. Oh, he had mushrooms on him. Maybe if we put mushroom. Dude, that's some bullshit though, dude. Cause that's such bullshit. It's the same people that are in jail for weed now. It's give it 10 years and mushrooms will be legal and then he'll be in jail or some nonsense. I don't know. I mean, hopefully that's all he did and he didn't hopefully he didn't freak out when he got arrested and try to take out some cops or something. I mean, you said 7 felony counts. That's that's doing some, that's something real bad. Adrenaline? We were talking about you earlier. We were talking about the Lux Idol. Then eventually one of these goddamn days I'm going to test out barrels, but I haven't gone to the paintball field in friggin' months. The cocaine. But still, I mean, to get 7, if he really got 7 felony counts, or they're charging him with 7 felonies, you gotta do something more than just have drugs too. Unless he was towing a trailer of drugs. Cocaine. Drugs are bad, guys. Don't do drugs. That's all I gotta say. Drugs are bad. Especially nowadays. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, if this was 30 years ago, and it was just different times, but now there's fentanyl and everything, and it's just terrifying. I can't imagine, and I think that most of us might live in areas that you can visibly see people outside are an example of why you don't do drugs. And by drugs, I mean like, you know, cocaine and heroin and fentanyl and meth. Like, those are drugs. You know, you can smoke some weed, you know. You know, I smoke some weed. Then you can do some mushrooms. Like, you know. Fuck, everything else has just gotten sketchy. Test your drugs at least. What are we talking about? I don't know what I'm talking about. They said Bobby Aviles died of a drug overdose. You know, I don't fully remember, but I don't know. I have to say, I don't know Bobby Aviles, and I hate even like saying this about him, but you did it, I think, or something. I think he might have, it was either suicide or drug overdose, I'm pretty sure, which is... Jank says, you can also smoke weed and do mushrooms at the same time? Yeah, of course. Alcohol is kind of scary. It's crazy that, like, you know, the other day, like, I'll say Monday drank too much and had like a hangover, and it's like, you know, I don't even drink that much. No, it's not like I was like hammered. Not like I'm staggering around. It's like, it's not that bad. But like, it's crazy how much it affects your body and how like it actually is just terrible for you. You can just feel how it just like kills you. But like, you know, mushrooms and weed and stuff, you're like, bam, the next day you're perfectly fine. But somehow alcohol is legal. Wolfman says, here is the link. I don't think it'll let you post links in here, so. I think I found it. Holy cup moly. Oh, it's gonna make me log in. Well, I definitely found something, but it's making me log in. It's making me log into the freaking local whatever. But this is from June of 2023, so unless... Dude, this is definitely him. It says, authorities seized cocaine, cannabis, and psilocybin mushrooms. Authorities seized cannabis, psilocybin... Deputies said patient had more than 600 grams of cocaine, which is almost a pound and a half, and more than 1,600 grams of cannabis, and 2,700 grams of psilocybin mushrooms. I mean, shit, that's a lot. Woo! That's a lot. That's a lot. I mean, I don't know. Is weed legal in Illinois? Marijuana illegal? Yes, recreational marijuana is legal. Well, that's good at least. I mean, I don't think that helps like the trafficking situation, but it might help a little bit, just it being legal and not like illegal like Mississippi or something. Dang, that's crazy. That sucks. Make good decisions, kids. Dude, there's like no fucking way I'm doing that shit. No fucking way. Yeah, they had to have caught him driving, of course. That's how they always catch people. Because they can't, like, do anything to you if you're in your home, really. I mean, they got to get a warrant and all kinds of stuff. And that's got to be, like, a big drug dealer. But I would bet that, like, 90% of people that get, 95% of people that get caught with drugs is probably driving around. And most of those people probably get pulled over because they didn't use their blinker. Or, like, some bullshit. And then they get pulled over, and then they're like... Damn, dude, your car smells like weed. International borders? Jesus. God damn, he's fucked then. Good God. Yeah, it sucks that, I don't know, drugs are a confusing thing. You know, I think drugs in America, I mean, I really truly believe that one of our biggest problems with drugs is that they are illegal. You know, if you think about alcohol, right? And alcohol is extremely addictive. You know, it's one of the only things that you can, like, detox from and die. So it's extraordinarily addictive. You know, it's extremely bad for your body. But, you know, we have all these other drugs that are illegal that aren't as bad. And I think that, you know, one of our biggest problems is our culture around drugs, just like our culture around alcohol is one of the reasons that, you know, I had some drinks on Monday, but I'm not going to, you know, drink the rest of the day, and I'm not going to drink the rest of the week because I kind of know that's bad and it's not going to, like, affect me well. But with alcohol, with other drugs, it's like all off the table, right? We don't talk about, like, how to do it safely or anything. It's just don't do it. And I think that if our culture was, you know, 100 years from now, if all of a sudden all the drugs were legal, I think in 100 years from now, we wouldn't probably have as many problems with, like, drug addicts and, like, all this other stuff. You know, it's very interesting that drugs are illegal in the first place. If you think about it too hard, it'll break your mind. Unfortunately. Rennick! Sir? If it was a blinker, my coworker would not be able to get away with weed. He's a stereotypical BMW driver. You know, I smoke weed, but I can't imagine, I don't know, people that drive around and smoke weed and they're high driving, that's just not a good idea. I know some of you might in here. California, I mean, California and weed are, like, crazy. It's not even, it's weird, dude. It's crazy. It's such a different place. Yep, Ben Lawton. You can thank lobbying for how much booze is pushed versus weed and psychedelics. Don't we, like, know, like, the history of, like, hemp? It didn't, like, William Randolph Hearst is, like, one of the main reasons that, like, weed was illegal for so long. It's crazy. Yeah, and lobbying, I mean, lobbying's the bane of our American existence. You know, if you got $1 billion, you can get any law passed you want. That's probably not what it should be like. Wanting to do anything while high is crazy to me. Dude, I know everyone who plays paintball. Like, 85% of the people I play paintball with are high when we're playing paintball. I can't do it. I mean, my tolerance isn't high enough. So, like, if I try to play high, which I've tried a couple times, I'm like in the bunker and I'm like, my brain is just like, I can't, like, concentrate and think about anything. It's just all over the place. I'm like, do this, guys, do this. Nope. Shoot this way. Nope. I'm like, I can't like concentrate. But, you know, tons of people here play high all the time. And, like, I kind of get it, you know, because, you know, I work out. If I work out or if I ride my bike or if I run, I really truly think that marijuana is a performance enhancing drug with some sports. That's going to sound crazy to some people. We have, Nikki Cuba says, we have recreational here in Boston, so I'm always playing high. It helps me focus like I'm in the Matrix. Yeah, that's what I know. There's tons of people. I can't do it. I'm too like. I like think at light. I think at like warp speed. I feel like it's like I can't like. I can't like whatever. I cannot focus. But I got friends who did exactly the same thing. They're like, I feel like I can like see through the bunkers. I'm like, yeah, I get it. I get it. I totally get it. My monitor cable came out. I totally get it. I can't do it. I can't do it. Adrenaline says, my son said all paintball tournaments I take him to smell like skunk for some reason. Now, definitely nowadays. People were smoking the devil's lettuce out there. I can't do it. I've never played. Look at it, checking out my beanie. Yeah, at least I don't get like, I definitely, you know, I think everybody gets a little paranoid when they smoke weed, but some people like freak out. You know, I think to myself a lot, so most of my thoughts that come out when I smoke weed come out normally. A lot of people don't like it because it makes you think about yourself. Anyway, this is gonna be the weed cast. I've definitely smelled it at BP Maryland. What is BP Maryland? British Petroleum? Maryland. I'm trying to guess the field. And have no idea how people do it. My reaction is too slow after. Yeah. I mean, your reaction times definitely slow down. I mean, it also matters how much you smoke too. So like the guys that I'm talking about that smoke the field, they're like, you know, they smoke every day, multiple times too. So it's like they have a tolerance that's like not understandable unless you have that kind of tolerance. You know, because if you don't ever do it and you eat like a bunch of edibles before you play, it's not going to work. Connor's like, I smoke weed all day, every day. It's no big deal. For some people, I've done that before too. I can't do it. I'm just not productive enough. I can't do it. I'm not productive. So I don't. But I'm hammered all the time. Sauced right now. This is a mixture of vodka and gin. Okay. Anyway, enough weed talk. This is going to be called Weed Ruined My Life. That's not as like funny. Paintball ruined my life is obviously kind of a joke. Weed ruined my life would sound like a real thing. Edibles don't do anything to me. Last time I ate an edible, I ate 600 milligrams. Edibles after you play in a good impact massage, joints don't hurt as much. I'm with you on that. Kinda. I really can eat like 1,000 milligrams and be like, yeah, do these work? For some reason it doesn't work on me. My body like processes it a little bit different. All right, I don't want to talk about weed anymore. We're not talking about drugs anymore. Drugs are bad. They really are, though, you know. Yeah, there's all those homeless people out there. Alright, here's a paintball question. Jay Green asks, alright, what's up with the mass migration from Revo to the Ironmen? So I'm with you on coffee. I mean, I drink coffee multiple times a day. Revo, you know, what's with the exodus? You know, I don't entirely know. I think that it's probably different for a handful of the players. You know, like this week we saw Omara and Henry Stentz move from Revo to the Ironmen. Revo has a brand new owner, though. I don't know, sold the team or whatever, has a brand new owner. So it's definitely got something to do with that. And then the Ironmen did so poorly last year that they're just trying to pick up new players and just be a better team this coming year. So the Ironmen adding players makes sense. They just want to improve. But I'm not 100% sure why people are leaving Revo. I think maybe just having a new owner, the new owner just might want to get a fresh start. And Revo's kind of been like middle-ish tier, middle top-ish tier, you know, in that like 6th to 8th place for a very long time. For, you know, a decade almost, it seems like. So it's very possible that just they want to kind of start over and just, you know, start over with newer players and just rebuild that thing and try to become better. That's my guess. All right. I'm out of here. Yeah, the level roster is weird too. I mean, they've gotten rid of players and no one knows who's going where. And I mean, it's like every single day almost we see new players moving around. So we've got to, within like a couple weeks here, at least see some completed rosters, because teams are going to want to start practicing and, you know, get sponsorship stuff ironed out and whatever. So, you know, I can't imagine it being much more time until we know, like, you know, complete NXL Pro rosters. Hoping the new additions. We're talking about freaking drug addicts for so long. Hoping the new additions to the Ironmen do well and function as a team. Yeah, so do I. I mean, I think that the Ironmen, when the Ironmen are good, it's good for paintball. It does kind of suck, though, for some of the Ironmen guys. You know, a lot of the Ironmen players last year didn't have a ton of pro experience, so it might be a little bit more difficult for them to find pro teams. You know, I think about both two guys here, Jordan Boyum. I played with Jordan on a handful of teams. Jordan was on the Ironman for the last at least 2 years, and that was his first pro team. So it might be a little bit difficult for players like that to find new teams. What's the appeal in owning a pro team unless you are a manufacturer? I don't see much of a return on investment. There's certainly not, you know. But I think that that's almost true with every pro sports team. It doesn't matter what level, really. You know, obviously, if you own an NFL franchise or, you know, an NBA franchise, you're making money. I was going to say probably. But most of those people that own those as well, it's not a good investment. You know, I mean, people are spending billions of dollars to get into NBA and NFL teams. And I don't think that they really make all that much back. So I think it's the same thing that goes for pro paintball teams. It's kind of just fun. You know, if I had a bunch of money, maybe I'd do it. You know, I'd love to own a team. Just like I'd love to, you know, own an NBA team. So I think it's just kind of fun. I don't think it's necessarily like anything other than that. Anything other than like the owners find it interesting. You know, if we think about some of the owners right now, we got Bart Yakimek, and you know that's why he does it. It's just fun for him. We have Randy Smith from Houston Heat, the same kind of thing. It's just sort of fun. Who are the new owners? We have Tom 4 of Level. I think the exact kind of thing. It's just fun for them, and they just like it. And then Todd Adamson. Why am I all off? Todd Adamson. I'm like getting all my teams mixed up, aren't I? Todd Adamson bought Level. I'm sorry, not Todd Adamson. Tom 4 bought Revo. And then Todd Adamson, you know, buying Level. I think it's just fun. You know, I don't really think it's anything other than that. And why wouldn't it be, right? I mean, if you had a bunch of money and you know, why not own a pro team? Adrenaline says, Damien, brackets? Those are parentheses, right? No. I don't know. Damien, the one that came from Dynasty to the Ironmen, plays for our ICPL. Oh, does he really? Plays for our ICPL mech team and is a great guy and player. He's the one who looks like Tarek? I don't know what that is. From the new Rebel Moon movie. Rebel Moon? That makes me feel like it's Star Wars. I don't even know what Rebel Moon is. Rebel Moon. You know, I watched The Creator the other day. That was pretty good. Kinda. I mean, it looked good. I like movies for different reasons. I like look at the lighting and all that stuff. Yeah, Damien seems great. I mean, Damien's a cop, so he's got to have good gun skills, because you know they don't give guns to cops without good gun skills. You know, you gotta have good shooting skills. Anyway, okay, I'm really leaving this time, guys. I enjoy everyone who comes by. You know, people that are doing super chats, people that are buying Paintball Ruin My Life merch. Like that cool stars and checker headband. You can get that Olmec one. Forget what I call the other one. Maybe you want to check out Patreon. Help support this thing, and maybe we can buy a pro paintball team. We get enough people. If I get like 20,000 people to sign up for the gold tier Patreon, maybe like 30,000. If we get 30,000 people to sign up for the gold tier Patreon, I'll buy a pro team. Nope. We get 100,000 people. If we get 100,000 people to sign up, I'll buy a pro team. So all we gotta do is get like, you know, another 999,000. We're close. We're damn close. Anyway. Guys, I appreciate it. Definitely come back next Thursday. I'm working on the CS3 versus ETHA 3 video this week. So you'll see that soon. Yep. I'm going to click this button eventually. There we go.